up, YouTube? It's Duelist X here. I'm going to give you my October Banlist 6 Samurai deck profile. I'm going to try to explain everything I've done, my decisions, why what I have is what's in there. First off, let's get into it. Monsters, I run 2 Elder. A lot of people run 1, but honestly, having 2 and me running 3 Asceticisms in my build, it allows you to quickly make your synchro plays that much faster, and your opponent may somehow clear your board. There, you have a second Elder, you know, just ready to come up on board. Use it how you want to. I prefer 2. Then, of course, what's a 6 Samurai deck without the 3 Kagemushas? Obviously, the tuner of the deck. There are other hand trap tuners, but this is the best one of all of them for sure. Kagemusha has its secondary effect, of course, which is if a Sam is targeted by an effect of any kind, you can make it target Kagemusha instead. So you'll essentially just make your Shien with the Kagemusha or whatever else you need. Next up, of course, to finish up the essentials is the 3 Kazan. It's essential because it makes it exceed in synchro plays. If you control Sam, you could just spam him on the field, so it's pretty good in that sense. Someone run 1 only, but I run 2. Kigeki. That allows you to make that Shien or any other synchro that much faster. Spam another Sam on the board. Help with your United and any other combo you want to get off. Kigeki's just there. And with it beefed up to 17 with another Sam on field, it's an Asceticism, 4 Nishi, and or Iroh. Speaking of, we have 1 Inishi, basically a compulse. If you have 2 other Sams on board that aren't Inishi, becomes 22 attack. So compulse Sam. Probably the strongest Sam of all. Then of course the Iroh and the Zanji. Now, why is he so special? Well, you have Iroh, which destroys automatically the face downs. And then for the Zanji, it's essentially, if they were to get attacked, then you can potentially have another Sam get destroyed and then destroy the other monster. So there's that. Next we got, of course, since you have all those Sams, a 1 Grandmaster. You can spam him if you have another Sam on board, and if it's destroyed by an effect, you can add a Sam from your grave to your hand. Usually it's going to be another Grandmaster which just went to the grave, or maybe Iroh. It just depends on who you need, really. And the last of the monsters, Violent Prism. Yes, because it has a semi-decent 1500 attack, its effect, you know, it allows for the synchro plays that much faster and easily. And if it's, you know, synchro with that and another monster, then you essentially have the synchro 8 or other monster, and then it gets a 1000 attack boost. That's pretty crazy. This is basically my replacement for Spirit. On to spells, we have the 6 gateway cards, the 3 Wodas, and the 3 smoke signal. Don't really have to explain, everyone should know what they do, but you know, smoke signals 3 lore, any warrior for 3 Rotas. So in that sense, you got your 6 gateway cards. I say gateway because that's what gateway really did for you. You activated by removing counters and you add to your hand. 3 Asceticism. Speeds up the deck, speeds up the combos, synchros, and exceeds. It's all what this deck is about, just like a lot of other decks. You want to make your plays that much faster. It's about synergy and combos. 3 Asceticisms makes the deck run perfectly smooth. Not cloggy, ever. Then the last of the, you know, most essential 6 Samurai. Agreed, basically. Build up 2 counters, max 2, remove the counter. Per counter, you get to draw a card. Make sure your plays go through for the offensive or defensive. Lance, always good. Book of Moon. Sometimes there's a monster. Let's just say, for example, you're going against the Teller Knights. Honest happens. Boojins. That happens. You don't want to run into that, so you just Book of Moon that monster. And then after that, you basically, you know, just have that monster ran right over, no problems necessary. Next we got, of course, Soul Charge. It's a monster reborn, or there is another spell. See if you can leave a comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. It's a banned card, but it's essentially a monster reborn, just like Soul Charge. And this is another good tech choice of mine, Mind Control. It's great early, mid, and late game. It helps make your Exceed plays. Arc is a good card, any other card really that you're running. Spam the 4s, your opponent's going to have a basic set of 4s too. Or if you have an Exceed you want to steal some other effect you want to use, Mind Control is perfect. As for the traps, one warning can pretty much stop almost everything. After that, Compulse, because it's chainable no matter what situation. If it gets spaced, another card chains to it, destruction, whatever. Compulse, just bounce the monster back, regardless if it's you or your opponent. 2 double-edged, again with the Synchro and Exceed plays. Special 2 Sams from your grave. Attack position, you're usually going to Synchro most of the time, but you can usually Exceed if you want. Then of course, Breakthrough skill, and 3 Fiendish Chain. Breakthrough skill because if it gets spaced, you can still use this effect again, and then 3 chains to stop the attacks and the effects. Sometimes Sams do have a little problem with some other monster effects, and sometimes it just gets too spammy. So, a good, the top tiers for whatever Beast Shaddolls, Teleknights, anything like that, it helps you get the winning advantage because your monsters are going to be spamming, hitting the field, and your opponent's going to be left in the dust. And the last tech for a trap, Memory of an Adversary. If you don't know what it does, opponent declares an attack, you take damage equal to that attack, you can afford it. You think you can't, but you can. During the end phase of your opponent's next turn, since that monster was banished, you just special to your field. This does not target, it just banishes. So it's really good. Consider it. Onto the extra deck. What's a Sam deck without Shien? Negate a spell or trap return. Pretty basic. Then we have our Mateys. One of my favorite. It's 23 attack, yeah. Other than that, it attacks. It's like a ancient gear golem, essentially. Opponent can't do anything against that. Beast and Barkion. Negate spells, negate the traps. Average in the Sam deck. Guide Knight until I get Goyo. 26 attack, no effect necessary. Gets chained, whatever. It's 26. Gonna be hard to get over. Black Rose to nuke the field. Pretty average. And then because I do have potential 8s no matter what, especially with Violent Prism helping, Crimson Blader and a Stardust. Stardust for, protection. Crimson Blader to disrupt effects in combos your opponent's going to try to dish out at your face. Or just in general, it's a great attack. 28 is pretty crazy. It's really close to Leo. I have it down to 1 now. Shadow. Beefs up Kageki to 35. Other than that, it's just another monster to help with United, or any other monster you want to beef up temporarily, you can do so. Then, just for the purposes of Leo, I run 1 Excalibur, detach 2, and then you can use that comboed with Double Edge to make another Synchro and Exceed, but 4K to the face, if not, is still just a great attack, and it's a light, so... Black Ship of Corn, awesome card, just helps get rid of monsters. Arc, it's like Big Eye and Zen Mains combined, essentially. Pretty decent. Gaga Cowboy, because its attack is pretty good, but mostly it wins games, so. Alucard for the offensive plays. Very essential in my opinion. Helps get rid of those, say, set cards. It can end games too. Say they have like you're scared of a Mirror Force or something, really close, you can knock him out. Most likely you're going to hit him. Bam, 18. Pretty decent. Then Zen Mains for the offensive and defensive push as well. So that's all of those. Now we got a side deck. What we got? D-Fissure. Probably one of the most essential side deck cards I've used a lot recently. Just because of the fact that your opponent needs to rely on a grave, you need to rely on a grave sometimes, but really, disrupting the graveyard, that's why they have a lot of this banished stuff banned or limited. So, other than that, D-Fizz. Aside 3 spaces, just because your opponent wants to use, and the most essential card is probably at this moment, you can guess it's a trap. That's right, Vanity's Emptiness. Very scary card. It can hurt sometimes, but really, if you set up your board first, or you set up your board mostly, Emptiness doesn't really matter, and with the spaces to get rid of it, who cares? And it's just good for any other card in general. Sided in with your Uniteds because your opponent's probably going to want to space those to help you disrupt your combos. Well, they just lose for nothing. Slow release, again, the opponent and you yourself want to set up a grave. It's not going to happen. Slow release disrupts those plays. I side 2 Magatamas just for the rogue destruction decks. Sometimes it's still good against to side with Shadals, since they have their secondary effects hitting the grave and all. Macros Cosmos, it's like Defizz but the better version. Decree, again for emptiness or any other trap that your opponent wants to try and hit me in the face with. 1 Warlords. You know, you're controlling warriors. What's your opponent going to do? It's going to disrupt those decks that rely on different types. Grand Mole. Never underestimate Grand Mole. Grand Mole is a great card. Rogue deck. Use this. Punch. It's going to be either 1k or 2k to the face. Your opponent could be... It's like a finishing card like Cowboy. Punch and then you win. Most likely. Shogun for a lot of decks that rely heavily, like spellbooks for example, they need a lot of spell activation. Well, Shogun says no to that. Catastor for the rogue decks. And then Colossal Fighter, just because of Satella Knights, or you know your own deck happens to be warriors, mirror matches, little things like that. But anyway, that is my full deck profile. I do appreciate y'all coming and checking out the video. If you have any suggestions, comments, anything like that, go ahead and give me a little comment down below. Let me know what you think. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a good one.